I think the good part at this point is at least it's almost like we're kind of in rhythm. You know what I mean? Like we got meetings, we got schedules, we got everything kind of worked out. There's a lot of kinks to kind of, push through as our first time from a logistics standpoint. But I think at least now we're kind of in mode. The first couple of days was like trying to figure out meeting room space and the players, the positions, grinding through the tape, taking a look at that, and just getting everything ready to go. But once you kind of get in football mode and football kind of program, then everything kind of works a little bit better for itself. So it's good. Sure. There's a lot. I think there's a lot, right? You just try to take as much as we can. Obviously, just great opportunity for us to coach, great opportunity to meet the players, spend some time with them, and then, get on the field and work with the guys. So for us, it's a full hands-on sort of, call it interview, call it process of evaluating players and kind of, getting to know these guys. So I think that's really good.
Two new coordinators, just thoughts on what you brought to your staff?
Yeah.
And
obviously just going through the process of trying to build the staff up, for this year, bringing in somebody on defense that, that I feel has worked really hard through his NFL career to, improve in the different spots that he can be successful. Obviously, played him when he was at Philly. Not a good game for me, but a good game for him. So any guys that we can bring in here that have that experience, that sort of exposure, I think are always good. Some that I've known for a long time, so that's a positive too. You're trying to get familiarity with people to build the staff. But certainly, I think from that aspect of it, it really helps us just get going in a direction I think we want to go defensively. Braden on special teams, really good young coach who's been kind of in a similar system that I'm used to, kind of from a special teams terminology and background and philosophy, and really has been on the edge here of being a coordinator for a while, someone that I've had my eye on for a long time, and just finally had the opportunity to get him on board. So just trying to bring everybody we can in to help the players. That's the bottom line, is just to get good coaches in here that'll hopefully help the players develop, help them grow, help us build game plans and schemes, but really just coach and make everybody better. So that's what we're trying to do.
Corey spilled out deep dark secrets of you guys sleeping in the same office.
Great, appreciate that.
What's your recollection of those days and just the year you guys spent
Yeah.
together back then?
A lot of it, that's just those are the early days of coaching in the NFL where you're just trying to grind it out and trying to figure it out. And I would say as two young coaches that came from college at the time, two opposite ends of the country, just coming together to try to say, okay, hey, how can we help each other to get better here in the NFL and all aspects of what we were doing. I think it's important, certainly in the way that I was raised in the coaching system, to start at the bottom and work your way up and understand the details of all the little jobs, how that affects the big jobs, and how that all puts together. And that's certainly where we both started from that aspect. I think it gives us both the same perspective as far as that's concerned.
There was a report in Philadelphia that you're going to call the plays initially. Can you speak to that? Is that true?
No, it's January. Honestly, I'm still like, this is last year. I haven't even, we're kind of moving on, but from a standpoint of, where I'm at, we're starting to transition into next year. Again, I'm just trying to bring in the people I think that'll help our players right now the best. When we get into game plans and schemes and the rest of it, we'll deal with that when we get to it. But right now, it's just about coaching our guys, learning these guys, doing our evaluation process. You might want to grab that. Just making sure we do a good job. We're still evaluating kind of our own process too, schedules and different ways that we do things and some adjustments we made last year compared to the year before, if we liked them, if we didn't, how they were from that standpoint, if they were helpful or not. So I think we're just trying to, continually push it in that way here for the next couple of weeks.
Matt, after that one.
Say again?
I'm sure you have a vision for what you want the defense to look like. How do you envision it being different?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think our defense is different every year based on the players that we have. That's kind of, I would say, maybe what's unique for our defense as opposed to maybe some other philosophies, where it's trying to fit the players into a scheme as opposed to, we try to figure out the players that we have and fit them in the scheme that works for us, that week or that way. I think the fundamental picture of what we want the defense will never change. Be smart, be aggressive, play hard, good fundamentals, good techniques, stout, sound through the middle of the defense. All that's the same. So what it looks like in the end, we'll see as we go.
Have you been in contact with Snacks about his decision on what to do next year?
No, you know what? At the end of the season, I tell all the players, coaches, everybody kind of that's involved. I think everyone just needs to let the emotion of the season calm down, and certainly from that standpoint, all the players, get away, get with your families. Again, it seems crazy, but it's still only January. We're not even into February yet, so all that stuff will take care of itself, and certainly we'll handle all that like we normally do, kind of in-house and private conversation between everybody that's involved. But from that standpoint, no, I haven't talked to any players. I'm probably not going to get into all the strategy part of anything like that, but I mean, I'm kind of focusing on one guy, but it's really a lot of guys. I've been in different situations where we're, certainly had players. I remember years ago I had a player who was a starter walk in, first day of training camp, just decided that was it. So, who knows? But from our standpoint right now, that's kind of not even where our focus is.
I wanted to ask one more about Corey.
Yeah.
After that 1 year, I mean, you took the path at New England and worked your way up there. He went, I think, 5 different stops and worked
Yeah.
his way up that
Yep.
way. He's played in some different teams coming off of Jim Schwartz's scheme, which
Yep.
is vastly different. How appealing was it to add a guy that's had experience in different
Yeah.
defenses to wait, you like to look at defense?
Absolutely, because I think we are so multiple. When he first left, he went with Romeo Cornell, so there's a lot of carryover there. Obviously, Coach Del Rio, was with him for a while, and then with Coach Schwartz. I think Corey's done a great job. Really, he's actually coached a little bit in the front, but mostly in the back end. Really does a great job with coverage if you watch his players. I think he's a guy that if you talk to enough people in the league as you kind of get to know him a little bit, there's a lot of respect for what he's been able to do, the players that he's coached, how he's coached them, his relationship with those guys. I think those are things that are important to me, and he does have a much different I would say experience than I do from defense, which is going to help I think everybody from that standpoint and give us different ideas, different opinions, different philosophies, different techniques, things that'll help us, and we'll work through all that stuff. But that is I think that's a good thing to have.
I was just going to say, obviously this is an interview process for the players to do. Is there a sense of responsibility that you guys as a staff feel to these guys? You guys are their first kind of touch at the
Yeah,
NFL, and
absolutely.
take it through that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that was a big thing for me last night, just talking to the, to the players. I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of help them transition into the NFL and what we expect and what we look for, and much more than just kind of. Obviously, we're super excited and appreciate that everybody's here and happy for them to be able to be here to showcase their abilities. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're here to coach and hopefully help them, help them improve and show that, through the course of the week that they can get better, and that, there's a huge upside for all those guys to give them a chance when they get there. So I think that's a great opportunity for us, and it's a great, really situation where I'd say, we got to take that as coaching staff to try to do everything we can to help them.
You do have a few position coaches opening, linebacker, defensive back, tight ends. In terms of these practices and,
Yep.
and getting these guys that first touch the NFL, how are you approaching that with coaching those particular positions?
Yeah, I mean, we have 18, 20 coaches. I mean, we got a lot of coaches. So, I mean, I think from labels as far as what, people position, things like that. One of the things, and it's no different for me when I was a young coach, as a coach, I think you want to coach everything. It doesn't really matter. So you may be a DB's coach, but you should be able to coach linebackers. If you're a linebackers coach, you can coach D-line. So when we finalize our staff, which, we're just not there yet. I don't think it's a wise thing to rush that. I think it's, we're in the same boat everybody else is. Everybody's interviewing guys. Everyone's talking to people. We got a little bit of a head start on some of the guys that we've talked to, which is, was positive for us. But to just kind of throw a staff together because we have to coach the Senior Bowl, I didn't think that was really a very smart or wise move. I think it was more appropriate for us to know the coaches we have. Some guys will have opportunities to coach this week, which will be great for them to get better as coaches, especially young coaches that we want to develop, and then continue our process to try to build the staff with the best possible coaches that we have. There's still 2 teams playing. There's a lot of things that happen. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of staff movement yesterday with some of the different organizations. So from that standpoint, we're just going to make sure we always bring the best people in. So we have a big enough staff where we can kind of absorb some of the different missing pieces right now, which is, we're talking about a week where we're working on fundamentals, we're working on techniques. It's not a scheme week. I mean, you could do the playbook. It's done already. So I think from that standpoint, we're not talking about coaching strategies. We're not talking about game plan stuff, which is some of the things that when you interview coaches for your full staff, are important. No different than we were just talking about Corey, that he's been in different systems that have been able to game plan teams different ways. That's not really the focus this week. So it's just about allowing, some other coaches to just work on their fundamental coaching techniques, which is another good opportunity for us too.